Brock Purdy should be sacked here, but he won't be. It's a basic bootleg play design with no wrinkles added by Kyle Shanahan. Purdy will work his way to the flat and be confronted by the unblocked edge defender. He's trapped and all of his receivers downfield are covered. The primary problem in coverage is this defender. He is taking away the flat route and he can undercut the inside crossing route if Purdy throws it off balance. So the ball can come out at this stage of the play. Instead of panicking and forcing a bad throw into a non-existent window or collapsing to the ground to submit to the sack, Purdy shows great awareness and good athleticism to sidestep past the unblocked pass rusher and set himself up to throw the ball downfield. He moves into a pocket of space that he can throw the ball from more comfortably. But now there are new challenges. Purdy is throwing the ball outside to the sideline while his body shape is set up to only throw inside. And the defender who was previously taking routes away is now in a great position to undercut his throw and intercept the ball if he misses even slightly. Purdy has to make a precision throw through a channel of defenders and hit Deebo Samuel in a tiny window. He has enough arm strength to make the throw, and he guides it exactly where he needs to for the completion. It's a risky, difficult throw, but he made the play work when it should have been stopped in the backfield. You might be fooled into thinking that Brock Purdy is just steadying the ship and doing basic things as a 49ers fill-in starting quarterback. He's actually doing a lot more than that. This is one of George Kittle's touchdowns against Washington. The defense shows cover 3 before the snap and will play cover 3 after the snap. These are the routes that the receivers will wind up running after the snap. What's pivotal here is that when the ball is snapped, Purdy's eyes open to the left. He's looking at the outbreaking routes to that side of the field, which keeps the deep cornerback to that side of the field away from the middle of the field. He can't run over George Kittle's route later in the play. In the middle of the field, you can see how the single high safety comes forward. This looks out of place relative to the rest of the coverage, and George Kittle sees it. Based on all the routes run here, Kittle changes his route mid-play from an intermediate crossing route to a deep route down the middle of the field because he saw what the safety did after the snap. From the end zone angle, we can see Purdy's eyes open to the left before quickly coming back to the middle. He was likely expecting to hit Kittle on a crossing route in front of the safety, but instead he takes a breath and reads what the defense has done instead of predetermining his throw. When the ball reaches Kittle in the end zone, his teammate is in the same position as him, which reinforces the assumption that his route changed after the snap because of what the safety did. Purdy was able to adjust to it and adapt on the move. That's a high-end technical play that requires high-end awareness and poise to react when the defense isn't what you expect it to be based on a correct read at and before the snap. The safety was likely only that aggressive because he assumed that he could take advantage of a backup quarterback. That wasn't the only time Washington made the mistake of underestimating Purdy and paying for it. Purdy's first third down of the game was a 3rd and 8. Washington lined up in cover 1 and played cover 1 after the snap. Purdy catches the snap, hits the top of a short drop, and the ball is immediately coming out. He understood where the weakness in the coverage was, he saw Kittle had inside leverage, and he was aware of where the deep safety was, so he knew the throw was safe at that stage of the play. Purdy begins his throwing motion before Kittle comes out of his break, which allows his tight end to catch the ball without getting hit. Kittle continues downfield for a 25-yard gain, all supplied by his quarterback. The Washington coaching staff saw how Purdy handled that coverage and tried to take advantage of it in their next 3rd and long situation. They initially show a cover 2 shell here with both safeties deep before the snap. But when the ball is snapped, they will rotate into cover 1 with the left side safety becoming a robber in the middle of the field. Washington is betting on Purdy locking on to Kittle's leverage and making the same throw he made before. He sees that opportunity, but this time he knows to turn it down. Juwan Jennings is running an in-breaking route that attacks the next window over at that level of the coverage. Purdy makes a pinpoint throw into a small window. He has to make that throw to avoid the trap that Kittle is running into. Even though Kittle had inside leverage, he was aware of the safety there that was coming forward. It's far from an easy throw and far from an easy play as a whole for the quarterback. On this play against the Seahawks, Purdy knows all of the action is to his left side from the start of the play. He also knows the play will work much better if the deep safety is on the other side of the field. He opens his eyes to the right because he knows the deep safety is reading his eyes at the start of the play. Once the safety looks to his left and moves left, Purdy is already moving his eyes back in the opposite direction. He actually winds up going all the way to the left flat to pull the coverage down before resetting and reversing his eyes to see Kittle wide open deep down the left sideline. Kittle then makes multiple defenders miss before sprinting into the end zone, as he does. This play is a combination of great scheme, great pass protection, great tight end play, and great quarterback play. It's not just the offense carrying a quarterback who is being asked to make easy plays. This was not an easy play. Sticking with the Seahawks game, here we get a clear example of how Purdy reacts to pressure. The defensive tackle wins quickly off the snap, so he's in Purdy's face at the start of the play. He immediately sees this and reacts to get the ball out and hit the only open receiver that he has. McCaffrey needed a moment to reach that point in his route and turn around to catch the ball, so Purdy had to wait until the last moment to release it, and then McCaffrey can turn upfield to reach the first down line. The timing here is perfect. Although Brian Flores is gone from Miami, the Dolphins defense still relies on cover 0 blitz looks on key downs. Here they put 8 defenders on the line of scrimmage in position to threaten the quarterback. Only 3 defenders are committed to playing coverage. This is a position where backup quarterbacks or bad quarterbacks will panic, they'll overreact to the pressure, or they'll make a misread in coverage. Purdy sets his protection to slide left, and then he sees the defenders in the middle drop into coverage. His eyes are to the middle during his drop back, and then his eyes go right when he hits the top of his drop. He knows he's going to get crushed by the unblocked edge rusher, but he stands in strong and delivers a perfect throw to Kittle, even throwing the ball over the defender who drops into the passing lane late in the play. Jamel Dean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cornerback, is infamous for being susceptible to double moves. The 49ers target him here for Brandon Ayuk's 32-yard touchdown. This is a completely different play to the blitz beater against the Dolphins, but you again see Purdy perfectly execute the play, using the time the 4-man rush gives him to pump fake Dean at the exact time he needs to before delivering the ball against a heavy hit past him deep downfield. It's another example of high-end quarterback play that you don't expect from a 7th round rookie, and it's just the norm for him on each drive. Here we see Purdy step back into the pocket, feeding the pass rush while keeping his eyes downfield to read the coverage against Washington. That allows him to connect with Ayuk again, this time for a 54-yard gain. For this touchdown, the Buccaneers defense takes away all of Purdy's receivers and they get early pressure around his right tackle. Purdy feels the pressure and escapes through the pocket, beating multiple potential tacklers to reach the end zone. Purdy has had a couple of interception opportunities missed by defenders this year, but he is not repeatedly putting the ball at risk. Through a combination of his athleticism, his comfort reacting to pressure, and his intelligence reading defenses, he avoids putting the ball in bad spots. This play is a perfect example of how Purdy protects the ball and keeps the offense ahead of the down and distance with his skill set. It's a shot play design with play action in the backfield to Deebo Samuel. Samuel will continue into one flat while Christian McCaffrey motions into the other and 2 wide receivers run deep routes downfield. If the deep routes are covered, then Purdy should look for the flat options who will presumably be open. But Purdy is disrupted at the top of his drop, so he can no longer fall back on the process of the play design. He has to immediately relocate to avoid a sack, but has edge rushers taking away both flats and penetration coming through the middle. This is not an easy scenario to escape from because of the multiple points of penetration and the play design relative to the coverage. Purdy didn't have a quick slant to hit or a route dragging that can give Purdy an outlet to avoid the pass rush. Purdy's athleticism gets him away from the pass rush, and then his awareness, paired with his comfort throwing on the move, allowed him to connect with Kittle for a first down completion. Purdy has 2 interceptions this year, 1 interception negated by penalty and 1 interceptable pass that was dropped. But one of his 2 interceptions was this good throw against Washington where Juwan Jennings bats the ball to the Washington defender accidentally. While we still don't know how he will react in big moments, his interceptable pass rate so far suggests he's not on the verge of a full-on meltdown or implosion. Purdy has landed in a phenomenal situation, and just steadying the ship alone would be a huge achievement for him considering where he's coming from. The 49ers are talented enough that alone could make them Super Bowl contenders, but that's not what's happening. It's disingenuous to phrase this as a quarterback who is simply getting by. He's playing like a top 10 or top 12 quarterback right now, and if he keeps this up, he can emulate the career of Tony Romo, both in terms of his career arc and the style of quarterback that he is, because that's the kind of skill set he's showing off so far.